We're excited to announce that we have signed with Jeff Pearson from Hydro with Hope. Jeff, how are you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you having me on here. This is awesome.
You know, this is one you and I have talked twice before,
Mhm.
which because you and I are very, very similar in one aspect. We both have brain trauma. We both have brain
Yep.
injuries. So that's something very, very well. People with brain injuries, it's nice to be able to talk to somebody who can kind of understand a little bit about what we're going on. The one thing that you and I have come to an agreement on, though, is my brain injury is not going to be exactly like your brain injury. And there's that problem that both of us have when somebody sits there and says, well, I understand you. No, you don't. No, you don't.
I
We,
totally get it. Yeah.
yeah, and or the one that I mentioned yesterday, welcome to my club or welcome to my world. I'd love to be in your world for a little bit, but tell us a little bit about what you went through and why you started Hydro with Hope. We'll get into more about what Hydro with Hope is, but tell us a little bit about your story. Because I mean, it's your story's a tough one.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, man. This is going to be awesome, and I am always up for going on, you know, more shows and stuff that makes sense. And this aligns so well, and I'm so grateful to be here. So my story starts at about 2 weeks old, and don't worry, we're not going to be here forever, but I'll fast forward through some of it. But at 2 weeks old, that's when I was first diagnosed with hydrocephalus. They did all the regular measurements at birth, did all the regular measurements at the 2 week checkup, and said, "Yeah, that head measurement's a little big. Let's figure out what's going on." They did a CAT scan. They figured out one of my ventricles in my brain was blocked, and they said, "Nope, that's hydrocephalus. We need to do brain surgery so we can install a shunt." And so that's what they did. At 2 weeks old, I went under the knife for my first brain surgery, and probably terrified my parents. Honestly, I can't imagine. I've got 3 kids, and our son has went through surgery at about a month old, and it was absolutely terrifying. So I can't imagine brain surgery. But so shunt, that is what they did. They put in a shunt which is back here behind my right ear, and it goes has a little piece that goes straight into my brain through a hole in my skull, and then it pumps the fluid out and reabsorbs, drains down a cord, and then reabsorbs into my body. So it does what everybody else's, most people's brains do automatically. And so that was my introduction to the world, so to speak, was brain surgery at 2 weeks old. Fast forward through to about 38 years old, I had a very normal childhood. I did the surgeries. I had a couple revisions, couple brain surgeries through childhood and high school. They all went well. Everything was cool. And then up until about 36, all was well. I got married in 1999, and we had kids and moved to where we live now, and it was awesome, and everything was cool. And then all of a sudden, I started having surgeries again, and starting in 2013, and I had an emergency surgery in 13, 14, 18, and 21, 2 and 14 actually. And the reason Hydro with Hope is around is because of a follow-up appointment I had following a neurosurgery I had in 2018. My wife and I are sitting in the waiting room, kind of just, or in the, not the big waiting room, but the little one. They say, "Okay, the doctor will see you now." And then you go sit for a little while in the little one. And we're sitting there and we're listening. And the couple in the next room is talking to somebody, and you can tell they're kind of distraught, and I was like, oh man, I wonder if it just went through my head. I wonder if they're finding out their baby's going to have brain surgery for the first time. It just flashed in my brain. I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder what my parents felt like. What could I imagine they must have felt like going through that? And so right then we're like, we got to do something. I can't just sit here. And so that's kind of where the the beginning thoughts of what Hydro with Hope would eventually turn into began. And, you know, are we going to do brick and mortar? Are we going to do like a storefront? Are we